Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 82 of Rapid Fate Online, and this one's titled Park Playtime. It'll all work out, you said to her. He'll be understanding. Yeah, I know. It still hurts thinking about it, though, she replied. I love you, you said. Aye, bestie. Love you too, she replied before hanging up. Unable to do much until you had the new headsets, you and Tamaki spent a little more time out of game together in the afternoons instead of in-game. I haven't sat on a swing in ages, you suddenly announced to him as you and he were walking back from the shops that next afternoon. You were going to cook dinner together and then chill. Well, you were hoping for a little more than just chilling together, but you didn't want to push him if he didn't want to do it. Then let's go, he said to you, looking at you from under his fringe. You grinned and handed him your bag, then skipped across the grass to the local park swing set and sat down on one. Ready? You asked him. I'm about to swing myself to Pluto. Please be careful. I don't want to lose you, he said in a soft yet worried voice. You grinned and pushed off, swinging yourself higher and higher while he watched on. With a devious twinkle in your eye, you activated your quirk and looked at him just as you were about to swing backwards. With a quick switch in and out, you swapped places with him, then swapped back again before he could say anything, and as you reappeared back on the swing, he screamed with terror, getting that flipped stomach feeling that you get on a roller coaster when it does the big drop. You cackled from on the swing, enjoying the cheekiness of your actions, while he looked around to try and figure out what had happened. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it, you chuckled as you swung back then forwards again. He realised what you had done, then dropped the shopping down and activated his quirk, deploying 5 tentacles and wrapping them around your body to lift you off the swing. You screeched as he held your body in the air and then laughed happily, letting go of the swing and letting it fall without you on it. He slowly let you down, one of his tentacles wrapping around your thigh again like last time and pressing close to that sensitive spot between your legs. You gasped and fell silent as he pulled you down, your bottom lip firmly sandwiched between your teeth. He looked at you with his piercing eyes, and for a second you didn't know what he was thinking. That look, with the tentacles between my legs, that's definitely making me feel things. You okay? You asked softly, seeing that his expression hadn't changed. He let you go and recalled his tentacles, then hung his head, and his whole form slumped a little. I'm sorry, you said quickly, with concern. Did I scare you that much? He nodded. I'm sorry, I won't do anything like that again to you. Promise, you added. It wasn't the switch, he said softly. You were just swinging so high I thought you were going to fall, so I picked you off the swing so you wouldn't fall. You weren't angry at me for using my quirk? You asked with surprise. He shook his head. I was worried about your safety. Oh, you're too sweet, Dicky, you said with love, falling into him and hugging him tightly. As he hugged you back, you kissed him, making out lightly in the park, just on dark. After getting your items together again, you both continued on to his place. Then you got changed into the spare clothes that you had brought with you and started setting up in the kitchen. Have you tried using your quirk while cooking? You asked Tamaki as you got a few bowls out for cooking. I have, but it's a bit messy. I don't have good fine motor skills with it, he replied. Let me see, you asked. He deployed his tentacles again and tried to use them to grip the spoon and pot handle, but it was a little fiddly and you giggled as you watched him work. Although you were chuckling in the moment, your eyes glossed over his tentacles again and you reached out and touched them to get a good feel. Hey, you chuckled, still touching his quirked up fingers. I liked when your tentacles were between my legs earlier. Tamaki looked at you and blushed, then hung his head. I'm sorry, I didn't know I'd put them in an inappropriate place, he said softly. I'll be more mindful next time. No, I'm telling you I liked it. Oh, okay. Is that weird? You asked a little sheepishly. No, he replied with a small smile. Okay, you said, then turned back and kept working. You figured it would be best to take it in small steps rather than just ask him to use them on you straight up. You both made dinner together, then went to eat it while sitting on the lounge and watching TV, and once you'd finished you put your empty dishes aside and snuggled into him. He too put his empty plate down beside the lounge and rested his arm comfortably around your shoulder. Can you use your quirk? You asked him. I want to feel your tentacles. He did so, and you felt the flexibility of each finger and how strong the suction cups were on each. Then let him wrap it around your arm, up your forearm. It kind of tickles, you said to him, giggling as you felt them. Did you want me to use them? Only if it's not too weird, you asked, letting a tentacle stray to your hip and wiggle around between your legs. You stayed on your side with knees together and let him wiggle it in between. You chuckled and crawled back up onto the lounge while he pulled his pants up, and then you snuggled up together and promptly passed out for another hour or so. When you woke next, you checked your phone and saw a bunch of missed calls from your mum, so decided you should go home ASAP. I'll see you tomorrow at school, Jiki, you whispered to the still sleeping shy boy, his peacefully resting face making your heart burst with love. He half sighed something in his sleep, but you didn't wait too long to hear his reply or ask what his reply was, as you were intent on getting home before you got grounded for a year. You couldn't afford to lose any privileges at the moment, especially with in-game mystery to solve. The next day your best friend pulled you aside. I'm going to tell him today, she said. I was going to do it over text, but that's not very plus ultra of me, so I'm going to say it to his face. He deserves the effort. Your game? You replied in awe. I couldn't do it face to face. She grimaced. If I don't come back to class after lunch, then just know I've done a runner. Okay, bestie, he chuckled sympathetically. Good luck, okay? I'm sure it will be fine. I really hope you come back after lunch, though. That'll tell me that it went well. Thanks, she said. Oh, and before I forget, I have your headsets at home, so swing by mine after school. Just come over if I've already gone home after lunch. It'll be fine. Okay, he said. I want to say thank you for giving us the headsets, but I know one is yours and that I won't be able to see you in game, so it's kind of hard to say thank you for something that will stop me from seeing you. There was a pause and the air thickened, or so it seemed, making it harder for you to breathe. And while you stood there, she saw you starting to board the metaphorical emotions train. Don't, she warned, pressing her lips together. Thought, I swore I wasn't going to cry. I'm not crying, it's ninjas cutting onions, you lied, looking up to try and dispel the tears. I'm going, she said quickly, turning and running away from you. No, wait, you screeched. Come back. No, she screamed. You'll make water spring from my eyes. No, I won't, I promise. Come back and let me love you. I don't need this right now, she called. As you chased her across the school grounds, Mirio and Tamaki stopped to watch. They're very energetic today, Mirio chuckled, his eyes on your best friend. Tamaki looked at him, then at you, and then your best friend, running madly through the schoolyard. She's really something, Mirio chuckled softly to himself, still watching your best friend. Tamaki hung his head, his lips pressing into a wobbly line as he held on to the secret of your friend's departure. Mirio looked at him and saw the look on his face and started to feel a little anxious. Everything okay? He asked his shy friend. Tamaki kept his head down, not wanting to lie. Jiki! Mirio! You shouted when you saw them watching. Your best friend stopped and looked at Mirio, and he grinned at her, giving her a bright smile and an energetic wave. She stopped and forced a smile onto her face, then joined you and walked over to them. Greetings were as usual, and then you headed to the morning's class, a pang of hurt shooting through you when you saw Mirio reach out and take her hand for the last walk down the hall. It was almost as if you were more nervous than her that day. Your stomach was constantly doing flips. You were unable to concentrate, and you kept glancing nervously at the two of them throughout the morning. Lunchtime finally came, and your bestie asked for Mirio to have lunch alone with her, and you noted that she didn't take her lunch with her. You completely understood why. And so you sat with Tamaki for lunch. The silence was depressing. Are you worried about them too? You whispered to him, the light breeze ruffling both your hair as you sat under the tree on the grassed area. He nodded and looked down at his lap. I don't know how to comfort him either. I don't think you need to say anything, you said to him. Just being there and listening is enough. Sometimes the people who do a lot more talking do more damage than good. He nodded again, and you both ate in silence. Well, not so much ate as in chewed on one mouthful of food for the entirety of lunch, feeling more and more anxious the closer it got to the end of lunch. When the bell rang, you both got up and made your way back to the classroom together, saddened but curious as to what you would find. To your surprise and delight, your best friend was there, and she didn't look too sad. Mirio was there as well, and although they weren't chatting or sitting together, there didn't seem to be too much bad energy between them in the room. "Hey," you greeted her brightly. She nodded with a small smile. "Still here." "That you are," you replied softly, with a tender look in your eye. The teacher walked in, so you took your seat, feeling a little better since both your friends had come back to class. At the end of school you parted ways with Tamaki and went to find your best friend so you could walk home together. You found her, and you both left to head to her house to pick up the headsets, while Tamaki walked home with Mirio. "You okay?" you asked her as you left the school grounds. She didn't respond, and you looked at her as she dropped her gaze to the ground and kept walking. "Not good, huh?" you asked softly. "I never wanted to hurt him," she said in an uncharacteristically soft voice. "He was trying to smile through it all, and he did so well, but I could tell he was hurt." "You've done the right thing, though," he said. "It would be worse to try and maintain a long-distance relationship and then have it fall to pieces and not be able to talk about it." She nodded in agreement, but it still didn't ease the pain of having to let him go. "I still love him, but I told him that I didn't, so that he wouldn't try and keep things going," she suddenly blurted out, hot tears flooding her face as she said it. Dang, these chapters are so emotional. I'm like tearing up here. I hope I'm not the only one. Maybe I'm just too into it. Oh well, stay tuned for next chapter, chapter 83, coming tomorrow.